Hello, everyone. How are you today, this evening? My name is Gerard Boy. Hello, everyone. How are you today, this evening? My name is Gerard Boy, and I will be the moderator for this evening's webinar. Okay, today we have a very interesting person, Mr. Casey, who has been a good friend for many, many years. He will be giving a talk on Lean Six Sigma. Okay. Anyway, if you are online, can you say hi on the live chat so that we know that you are attending this class? Just type something on the chat. Okay. In a couple of minutes, Mr. Casey will go live and he'll be talking about Lean Six Sigma and how it can help an organization or organizations and also individuals to weather through the current challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. And I will also like to announce a soft reminder for those who are attending this webinar. Any questions that you want to ask, you can ask through the live chat room. We will try our best to actually reply to you, but we will also have a Q&A session towards the end of the presentation where we will be given 10 minutes and you can also ask questions. Then we will pick up some questions and we will display it on the screen so that our speaker, Mr. Casey, will be able to answer your questions. And of course, attendance for this session is important. We would like you to, towards the end of this class, to use the evaluation form to basically evaluate our webinar as well as to sign up for the digital certificate. So those who attend will actually get a digital certificate from a SEGi college, group of colleges. I see there are a few people. Oh, as far as from JB, okay, Christy Ong. Okay, how are you? I hope you're fine. Okay, interesting. Tan Lepo from Penang is online right now. Yes, thank you, Christy Ong. Okay, we'll be starting very soon. 1 minute to starting. Okay. Okay. Here you can see the slides on Mr. Casey. Okay. Casey Ang has more than 19 years of experience. Okay, in driving organization and business process improvements across various organizations, including MNCs as well as SMEs. Okay, I will continue when the slide is turned on again. Anthony Tan, okay, Penang Lang number one, plus one Penang Lang only. Any more Penang people? Say yes. We have Christina Ong saying hi to everyone. Okay, for those who just came in, I would like to introduce myself again. My name is Gerard Boy. I am the Vice Principal of SEGi College, Penang. Okay, today with me is a very good friend of mine. We'll be talking on Lean Six Sigma. Okay, his name is Mr. Casey Ang. His, uh, his talk will be on how Lean Six Sigma can help an organization and also individuals to weather through the current challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. Hello, Mr. Casey. How are you?
Hey, hi, Dr. Gerard. Hi, nice to see you again, and thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, this is the only way we can see each other right now. Huh? You can't go for coffee anymore.
You are absolutely right.
Okay, so let me introduce to you Mr. Casey, to everyone, Mr. Casey, so that you get to know a bit about him. And before he starts his talk on the topic that he's talking about today, so Mr. Casey is a engineer by trade, and he has over 19 years of experience in driving organizational and business process improvement with and helping a lot of organizations like MNCs as well as SMEs. Okay, he has rich experience in helping organizations to revamp business processes to get it improved, to be more productive as well as to be more profitable, effect in terms of effectiveness, efficiency, and to strengthen the team collaboration throughout an organization. Okay, it often helps clients by integrating state-of-the-art IR 4.0 technologies to clients' processes to enable better connectivity, traceability, and visibility of the business processes. Okay, Mr. Casey is also an accredited training associate approved by the International Association of Six Sigma Certificate, an accredited trainer, accredited training associate, as is a professional who has demonstrated proficiency in Lean Six Sigma training and also coaching. And he also represents the IASSC body of knowledge. And without further ado, I would like to introduce and also pass the mic to Mr. Casey so that he can begin his talk on Lean Six Sigma today. Over to you,
Thank you.
Casey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Gerard. Hello, everybody. Everyone, nice to meet you here in this webinar. I can see people from all over, from JB, from Alostar, from Penang. All right, I'm so grateful that to have this opportunity together with you all, and thank you to SEGi College for sharing this opportunity with me, giving me this opportunity to share this interesting topic tonight. In fact, I think tonight there is some announcement, right, going on, and we were discussing just now before we start that, some of you might be joining late, but thank you so much for so many of you still joining on time. All right, so talk about Lean Six Sigma actually. Can I just do a quick check? A quick check. I can see most of you know how to respond from your live comment. Keep it going, so that we want to take these sessions as casual as possible. I'm here to share my experience with you. And like what Dr. Gerard has just said, toward the end of sessions, I will do my best to address some of the questions that you may have. Now, how many of you actually have attended some formal training about Lean Six Sigma? If you have attended some formal training about Lean Six Sigma, can you give me some yes? Or you have no, then can you respond by saying no? Can I see some response? So how many of you have attended some formal training about Lean Six Sigma? All right, so give me some response. Okay, thank you. I see somebody's reply already. Tiffany say no. Christine say no. Never before, but I heard about belt systems. Anthony, thank you. All right, Tio Mei Chi say no, 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 no. All right, thank you, thank you. Right. And Fu Kim Hill say no, not yet, not yet. I can see many of you have actually not attended any formal training. So I really, really hope, and I will do my best to, I can see more comment coming in. Thank you. Right. So I can see many no there. All right. So I will do my best to kind of like share with you, um, about Lean Six Sigma, a topic that I really, really passionate and really, really love about it. Back into almost 20 years ago, I still remember before my son was born in 2001. So about 20 years ago, time really fly, right? When I was working in one of the company and I have the opportunity to attend the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt training in Singapore, and that took me really like about 20 days of training. Is split up into 4 sessions, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. So I kind of like have some mix of training and of course some holiday as well in Singapore, right? And at that times my wife, which is still my girlfriend, is still working in Singapore. So that is kind of like a good reason for me to fly to Singapore. Seems like. Let's joke aside, huh? So time really fly, and it has been like 20 years for me in working in Lean Six Sigma, and I really, really thankful to my boss at that time, or my management at that time, for selected me, which at that time I'm like many of you never heard about Lean Six Sigma, and at that time, in fact, we just talk about Six Sigma. All right, my boss said, Casey, you have to go to Singapore and attend the Six Sigma Black Belt. Actually, at that time, I say yes, go to Singapore is a good one because my girlfriend was there. Right. So, but I go there and I enjoy the training. And in fact, 20 years from until now, I would really, really say, apart from my degree, apart from my master degree, I think this is really a skill that I'm still using a lot, and the skill that is really helping me a lot. And in fact, until today, when I have my own consultation company as well as training company, I've been using this skill to help organizations, right, that directly apply this kind of skill to help organizations to improve their business processes, to improve their performance, and so on and so forth. So when Dr. Gerard were talking to me and say, can we get together and do some webinar? I say, yeah, why not? And probably I can share something about Lean Six Sigma. Especially at this point of times where we are going through some challenges, right? So I thought this is quite an interesting topic to share tonight with all of you, right? So I put together some 5 key agendas or objectives for us to achieve it together tonight. So I kind of like, well, I will cover through some of the topics, like, for example, the first one I'm going to talk about the challenges that is, sitting in front of us, be it at an organization level or to us as an individual, right? Or you could be working in some organization today. You could be a student who are graduating and who are about to enter into the employment market. So those are some of the challenges that is sitting in front of us, and how do we deal with that? And what are some of the 5 enablers with Lean Six Sigma? I really consolidate it. It's like, unless in my intention is to, through this webinar, is to share with you, at least from my experience, that I can see there are 5 areas where Lean Six Sigma can really, really help organizations at this point of time, right? When we are facing such a global crisis, right, and supply chain breakdown, right, and there's a lot of uncertainty that is still sitting in front of us. So organization, even after the MCO over, how fast can the organizations come out, and how fast can the organization survive through or weather through this crisis? Those are the things that I think, there are 5 areas where I believe Six Sigma can help us to cover, and I'm going to talk about that in a short while. Thirdly, I will briefly introduce to you about Lean Six Sigma methodology. Right, through these introductions, I hope that you get a high-level understanding about what is actually Six Sigma, what is actually Lean Six Sigma. What's so special that 20 years ago until now, people still talk about it and people still use it. All right, why? What is the methodology that is so proven successful in many organizations already? And before is for at the individual perspective, I strongly believe that Six Sigma at this, as these junctures of challenges that we are facing right now, there are 5 core skills that Lean Six Sigma certifications can provide to us as an individual. And I'm the product of that, actually. 20 years until now, I'm still talk about Six Sigma, all right? And Lean Six Sigma certifications, toward the end, I will share with you kind of the Lean Six Sigma certifications that which I am doing. So then, and if there is any questions you want to know about Lean Six Sigma certifications, today, Lean Six Sigma certifications is green belt, black belt, or even yellow belt certifications that I can see. It is one of it is highly demanded in the job market. It used to be only the manufacturing industry who are searching for candidates with this kind of qualifications or professional certifications, but recently, you can see in the past few years, even some of the banking industry, some of the healthcare industry, or even some in some of the military industry, or different kind of industry are adopting Lean Six Sigma into the practices. All right, so this is kind of like one of the key things that I will share with all of you. All right, so let's get into it. I think. We don't know what is the announcement. I heard that the announcement said that it's going to be another 2 weeks of MCO. I'm not too sure yet. Later on after this webinar, we're going to check on this. But whatever it is, I think it is already a fact for us, right? It is more important that for us, instead of we worry, what's going to happen in future, what's going to happen to the economy, what's going to happen to me, am I still able to get my job or not if I graduate now, right? Or am I going to lose my job or not if I work in some organizations? So in my humble opinion, I think we have no time to worry, my friends, right? But I know that this has been, catching a lot of our thoughts recently. But I do believe that what we need to do is to act fast, sharp, and smart. All right, and in fact, one of my sharing tonight is I'm going to focus a lot into this element, especially on how Lean Six Sigma can help the organizations. At this juncture of time, I think change is no longer a choice, be it to the organization or be it to the individual level. We have to change in the way we learn things, for example, right? It is my very, few experience of, not because of MCO, I wouldn't do a webinar because I've been busy running around doing consultations, doing face-to-face training. And it is because of this webinar, the MCO now, I have to learn this webinar and I have to learn to speak in front of computer and watching the comment from all of you and still working very hard to engage with all of you, right? So we are going through a process of change, and change is not a choice anymore, right? To the organizations, you see. Now, just think about this. Just think about this. If the MCO over, right, and company go back and resume work, I will say that many companies, I've served some of the company who is my clients, and we were talking about, what's going to happen after the MCO. Many of them, and some of them are doing some export business, some are running manufacturing, some are running retail business, etc., etc., etc. But, somehow on this company, all this company, they have some backlog, isn't it? They have some order backlogs. They have some delivery backlogs. They have some work backlog that was given to them before the MCO, before the lockdown happened. So when, as this thing get over gradually, company come back again, so you will see people are chasing for sales backlog. When people are chasing for sales backlog, then of course, plus some more with the complications of the, most of the supply chains is actually originated, so many of them are in China, and now not only China, actually globally, some of the supply chain were badly interrupted. So companies are not in the mood of not just trying to cope up, they're trying to deliver the order back to the customer, and customer has, and then the customer is chasing after them, and they will chase after the company, and the company have to then chase after the supplier for the material, which could be in the shortage right now. All right. So not only we see this happen. So after this happens, the customer expectations will be changed, in my humble opinion, and it will change quite aggressively. If we look at it from the cost perspective, many customers could have come back and say, we have been doing business for so long, and this is the critical timing. Can you do some cost down for me? Or I may need to, delay some of my payments. I may need to prolong my payment terms, and things like that may happen. So organizations are facing a tremendous pressure to bring down the cost. And likewise, the customer will expect cost down. All right. But in the same times, what about quality performance? I think this is going to be even tougher. All right. Quality expectations is going to be even higher. Because why? Because, say for example, if it is not a COVID-19 period, if you ship up a defective product to your customer, you can still see how you can, survive back the, push back the lot, ship in a new lot and things like that. But now with these kind of things, when you go back to the business, the logistic may not be operating fully yet. Many customs or many ports may not be running in full. So if you ship out one lot, you're going to really make sure that that particular lot is tip-top internal quality. And you're going to make sure that when your customer unpacked from the pallets or open up from the box, it is good quality, that they don't have the hassle of return back or claim back. Yes. So quality expectation is going to be higher. And this apply not only to the manufacturing, it's to the service industry as well. All right, it's to the service industry, be it in the hospitality industry, be it you are in the retail industry. So your quality of service become even more crucial. All right. And what about the speed of delivery? People want fast right now. Right? People want, because people cannot know, what's going to happen in the next 2 months. If I can process my order now, if I can get my order across to me now, I want it now. I don't want to wait. All right. So your customer could be chasing for a faster delivery date. And because of all this thing, when cost going down, quality going up, speed going up, so what's going to happen to the company? The company need to really work very hard in improving and raising up the productivity, be it manufacturing, be it service industry. And the challenge of this is because through this crisis period, organizations could be doing some, workforce reductions efforts. They might be laying off some workers, or they might be doing some, getting some of the workforce in unpaid leave and so on and so forth. So organizations don't have the full workforce to function. And an organization cannot afford to say, if I cannot produce my output now, I just hire more people. I got to watch my costs. So organization need a techniques to find the way to raise the productivity. In other words, how can organization do more with same or less resources? All right, how can I produce more with same resources? And now could be, how can I produce more with with less resources? All right, I have less people, I have less money to waste for, I have less capital to waste for, I have less material to waste for. All right, if I'm not careful on my materials, and if my material go into the line and become defective, and that's going to be a wastage in my material, I may not get another batch of material for me to produce the product to the customer. Okay, so this is really the expectations from the customers, and that I foresee that it's going to change. All right, and it's going to change very tremendously. And for the organization who can really act fast on this, to me, I think they can really they will be able to weather through, and this become one of the very important factors for them to weather through this crisis. Now, because there are so many disconnected dots, and I felt that Lean Six Sigma come in to fill in some of the important components in order to keep the organization healthy. All right, to keep the organization healthy, some of the important components are like inventory management. At this juncture of times when the supply chain is in constraints, so organizations need to be able to respond very fast, to be able to determine what do I need to buy and how much do I need to buy. I need to be careful in terms of avoiding overstock, but in the same time, I need to make sure I don't meet with the understock issues. When I have understock or out of stock, then I cannot do business, right? So therefore, organizations need to have a very fast way of determining the right inventory management system. And Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, for example, Lean manufacturing, for example, it gives you a lot of Kanban method, visual management methods, all right? And Six Sigma give you a lot of data analysis method that you can quickly do a quick analysis of visual way to identify, to know that your inventory has dropped to a certain level and you better replenish now, or to prevent you from overstock. So inventory management become one of the important component, and which Lean Six Sigma scale can come in and enable in that perspective. Number two is visibility. Like I shared just now, organizations have limited resources, so decisions need to make very fast, and we must be able to spot problem very fast before it becomes a huge issue. So making your process visible, making your data speak, and making decisions based on data, based on facts, become very crucial, because this is the times that we cannot make decisions based on our gut feeling. All right, one wrong move may kill the organizations, all right, the resources. So data-driven decisions making become very crucial at this juncture of time. And Lean Six Sigma provide you the skill to help organization to set up this in a very fast time, very short period of time. How do you set up a dashboard? How do you set up a digital dashboard, especially today, right? I've been helping some of my clients to set up some digital dashboard. So this digital dashboard allow you to be able to monitor your business performance near to the real-time basis, right? So that you can react when you see the trend is moving on the wrong directions. Then you can take fast actions. So the third one is productivity. Lean Six Sigma come in as to address the unnecessary processes, the unnecessary steps, the unnecessary wastages that is sitting inside our process, where during good times, organization may not feel the pressures because, order coming in, business going on, I don't feel the pressures of improving my productivity. But during this period of challenging time, when I have limited resources and every single cent I have to be very careful, plus I have my resources could be shrinking. So productivity become one of the very, very important elements that organizations and should have. Next one is well-connected processes. What I mean by well-connected processes, we can't afford to run a process where process one pass something to process two, and then that person's then, kick it back to process one, and then go down to process three, kick back to process one, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Every going forwards and backwards that you have happen in your process cause delay in the overall processing time. And every single minute delay means money to the organizations right now, right? Plus some more, we could have some redundant process sitting in front of us. Say we could have operators or our workers or our staff fill up, a lot of data, a lot of form that we have to fill up, and how many of them really, really need it, right? Our people need to focus on value-added tasks right now. Our people need to focus on the tasks that will bring us more revenue, the tasks that will generate more profits. This is what the organization needs right now, isn't it? Not the unnecessary bureaucracy, redundancy, transportation, sending your document from one place to another place, searching for tools, searching for equipment. Those are all wastages that Lean and Six Sigma can come in and help organizations to scrutinize into all the key processes. In particularly, if you look at the middle of this picture, you can see a heart. Let me give you an example. Let's say a manufacturing company. A manufacturing company, the heart of manufacturing company is the production departments. Do you agree with me? Yeah. So production department is the heart of the whole company. If production department stop working, that means the heart stop beating. That means bye-bye to the organizations. Of course, sales is another one, but if assuming the sales team can bring in the business, but the production team cannot produce, then bye-bye, all right? So at this juncture of time, we want to keep our production running as much as it can. Even we know that there is some blockages in some of the importance, in the heart, artery, some important artery could have some blockage, assuming I'm using this analogy, but you don't want to kind of like do the surgery right now. You want to keep the production running. So what are the processes that have to support productions in running healthily? Like, for example, production planning process, purchasing process, raw material storeware issuing process, shipping process, delivery process, QC process. Those supporting process has to be really, really solid and provide the best of the best support to production to make sure that they can run the order in a very cost-effective and very high productive way. All right. So this is what I mean by how Lean Six Sigma come in to fill in this well-connected process well. Because Lean Six Sigma is really, really have a lot of focus in the process. Now, the fifth element is cost management. If you do inventory management well, if you do visibility well, that means you are able to spot problem when it happens, at the time when it happened. You spot the problem when it is still small, you can save a lot of costs. If you work on improving the productivity, that means you are able to produce more with lesser resources, with lesser inputs. That means you are doing something to drive the cost improve, right? And if you cut away some unnecessary processes, some unnecessary tasks, so that your people can focus in producing the output, focus in bringing the profit back up and improve it. And that's where Lean Six Sigma come in to help you to really help the organization at this critical time to bring down the cost management. All right, so as this, before I proceed on to my second slide, to my next slide, sorry. So are you okay? Can you give me some signal that are you following me? Say yes if you are following me. Can I see some response? Or you have some questions that you can throw it up to me right now before I continue further. Just trying to make sure you have a good understanding on this 5 enablers. Can you give me some response? If you are following with me, you just say I'm good, okay, or you have questions, you can just raise them. Let me check, see whether there's some feedback coming in. You okay? Type some things. Type yes. Good. Good to go. Are you good to go? If you're good to go, say yes. Say yes. Respond. Okay, interesting, but my line bit quite interesting. Quite. All right. All right. Okay. Good one. Good one. So no more questions. So no questions. Okay. So let's keep it going. So could Sir elaborate for costing parts? Good one. Thank you so much. Yes, sure. All right. Thanks, Anthony, for asking that. Okay, now let's just look at the costing part again, since Anthony asked these questions. Good one. Now, if you relate back, how the costing come in is the other 4 components. All right, inventory. If you manage your inventory well, that means you don't have a situations of overstock. All right, because you need to keep your inventory at a very healthy level right now, because that has a lot to do with your costing elements, right? And the second component, visibility. Visibility here means you actually pull some important data or process parameters or business performance data and make it visible to the whole company or to some key important stakeholder. So that everyone keep an eye on it, all right? So keep an eye on it, and then if it is moved in the wrong directions, we can take fast actions. So that, in other words, that if we are monitoring our profit, if we monitor some important cost basket, then we know that if that cost basket is going down, then we are in the correct directions in terms of managing our costing. And the next one, when it comes to productivity, here we have a lot of direct impact to the cost management, right? Because productivity over here, I always emphasize about at this juncture, how do we do less with more? How can I do some things where I used to take 5 steps and now I take 2 steps? If I'm able to save 3 steps from the usual 5 steps, and now I left with 2 steps, that means I buy more time for my people, and that means I can produce another 10 orders, or I can produce another 100 orders, right, in the same amount of time. So that means I can produce more. So when I can produce more, I bring down my cost. And well-connected process, this is really important, because if you have a lot of ding dong, going forward, backward, within the processes, because the process was not well connected. So that means there's a lot of broken links in the processes. So people are waiting for informations, people are waiting for tools, people are waiting for or people are receiving the wrong information, therefore have to going back to the previous process again. So all this consume time, and when it consumes time, it causes delay to the end delivery, and all these things will eat into the cost directly or indirectly. So I hope I answer your questions, Anthony, and just keep your questions coming. I'm sure my teams will help me to look into some of the questions. So later on, toward the end of the sessions, we can address some of the further questions again. All right. Okay. So now let me ask you a question now. Which one is more crucial now to your organization? Some of you may be working in some organization right now, right? I want you to just do a reflections right now at this point of time after you hear me explain this inventory management 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one is more relevant to your organization right now? Can you just type the answer, say 1 if you think inventory management is important, or 2 or 3 or 4. Just type 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5. Let me see. Any choice from or any inputs from some of you? Think about your organization situations right now, or if you are students and you have not worked yet. So I see Visa say 1, inventory management, good one. All right, so let's see, I have more or not. Which one is more crucial to you right now? Yes, that's the question. I see Anthony reply, say 3. All right, some say 5. All right, okay. Cost management. I can see many people select cost management. Some do select high productivity. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I can see some select 1 and 4. Good one. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your feedback. Angeline Lim say 2. Okay. Vivian say 4. Okay. Good one. So it really depends on the actual situations of the organizations, right? But generally, if you ask my opinion, I feel like one of the very crucial one right now, where Lean Six Sigma can come in and help to address that immediately, is number 3, high productivity area, right? Because if you address number 3 well, your number 1 and number 2 and number 4 could be able to address as well. Why? Now, you have limited resources right now. If the people going back and have to do all the 5-step things that which could have been done in 1 step or 2 step, but people still doing all the 5-step things, then people don't have time to do improvement. People don't have time to manage the inventory well. People don't have even time to look at the visual dashboard because they are caught in the whirlwind of operations, right? So, in my opinions, based on my experience, the first thing to attack is number 3, high productivity. But that really can depends on organization. Cost is important right now, but in my point of view, cost is the output, is the outcome of 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4 well, cost will be able to control, right? From the internal operation perspective, there are many other factors like the external factors, which is not what I'm referring to, but that has to be taken into consideration as well. But what I'm trying to say here, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4 well, your costs will be able to address at least from the internal perspective. All right, so let's just continue to learn now. So what is Lean Six Sigma really? What is Lean Six Sigma? Now, Lean Six Sigma is actually a management-driven, or it is really a very systematic, or you call it scientific methodology. It can be used to drive product improvement or process improvement. And the key thing is to create a breakthrough in financial performance and customer satisfaction. So Lean Six Sigma has a lot of focus in customer. That means you do what the customer value. So that principle itself helps us to already identify what are the unnecessary process that I should start to chop away. Because if the process which is not really adding value to my customer, then why am I putting so much resources into that? Right? I should have put my resources in the process where my customer really care, right? In the area where my customer really care. So that is the area. So how Lean Six Sigma come in to address it is 2-way, double-edged sword, I call it. All right, eliminates waste and reducing the variations. Some of the example of waste, let me give you some example of waste that I'm talking about here. Let's say, for example, look into your ERP system or your operation system, your IT system that you are using right now. Probably your team is, they have to punch in like 10 line or 10 field of data. But ask ourselves, out of the 10 field of data that they punch in, how many of them actually being used to generate useful information out? Chances are, if you do that, you probably find very little percentage of it actually. Many of them were there is because we feel good that it need to be there. Another example of ways that Lean and Six Sigma can help us to look into is like, when people are searching for information. I for example, I help some of my clients where we talk about how can we actually improve the production planning process. And when we notice that their production planning process is so manual, right, where they have to practically manually cut and paste into the Excel and cut and paste when they want to do rescheduling. So basically, the production manager has to sit in front of the computer for like 4 or 5 good hours just to make the scheduling happen. Because it's a small SME company, they don't have many staff who can do it. They don't have the resources to hire a production planner or whatsoever. So basically, production manager is doing it. But when we saw it, it's like, when I saw it, I shocked. I said, oh my God, how come the production manager is spending 4 or 5 hours in front of a computer and trying to do the scheduling when those things can be automated? All right, even without any ERP system, we can automate it through Excel. All right, we can automate it by doing some Excel simple, right, macro or whatever, and you can easily do scheduling, pull in, push out. So Lean Six Sigma train us to identify this kind of ways. In Lean, we call it 7 ways. Your transportation ways, your ways of transporting document from one place to another place. When your people working, they have to walk from one location to another locations, right? So these are all the 7 ways that we will learn inside Lean Six Sigma. And when we come to Six Sigma in particularly is using a lot of some basic statistical tool to help us to identify where is the variations. When I talk about variations, here it means it's like the consistency. If you go to Starbucks today and you buy a cup of coffee, a cappuccino from Starbucks, if you go back to the same Starbucks or you go to another Starbucks or any Starbucks and you order cappuccino, you will expect the kind of about same level of quality, isn't it? You won't expect that today when I come in to buy this cup of cappuccino and then it tastes like this tomorrow, wow, it tastes differently, right? So our process has variations. That means it's not stable. Today can produce good output, tomorrow cannot produce good output. This person can achieve good result. Next person do the same thing using the same equipment, using the same method, cannot produce the same result. That is variation. So Six Sigma help us to identify this kind of variation and address it down. So if you look at it, at this juncture of time during COVID-19, 2 things. You have 2 weapons with you within Six Sigma. One, help you to identify unnecessary wastages. Cut that, chop that away, make it lean. All right. Second one, look into stability. Identify the root cause that cause instability in your process. Address that root cause. Make sure you can produce consistent output, consistent level of quality. Boom. Then you have the 2 weapons with you. All right. So that is what I mean by Lean Six Sigma. Okay, let's look at it. Next one. So when we say scientific methodology, I really love this methodology. Every time when I do any consultation project, this methodology is like part of become my DNA already. So my mind always run with this, right? Sometimes when we approach any problem, we tend to jump into the solution or we tend to jump into the conclusion without really understand the real issue of the problem or the real situation of the problem. like a very famous quality guru, Dr. Duran, he said this. He said, a quality problem that is well defined is already a problem that is half solved already. I mean, 50% of your problem solved if you define your problem well, if you understand exactly what's the problem you're facing right now. All right. So DMAIC stands for define, D. Right. That means you start with defining what is the problem. What do you really want to solve? You don't think about the solution right now. And then the next phase, it will teach you to go into the measure phase. Measure phase is basically checking that where are we now? How are we doing today? So this is the stage where we collect our process data. We collect the data, we look at the data. The data tell us that our customer is not happy with our cappuccino. They are running away. So if we do a survey and we look at it and say, yeah, 70% of the customer complaining the quality of our coffee, for example, or we collect the data from our productions and we find out that, wow, 20% of the output produced in every night shift rejected. But if we compare to morning shift and noon shift, we find that it is doing okay. So that means we collect data, we measure the data, and it tells us where are we right now. So let me explain further how this helps us to solve problems faster and smarter. For example, if you're dealing with a quality reject, and if you just attack the problem without even understand the real issue, without even collect the data, you could be attacking and thinking that this is a process problem. But once you collect the data, then you notice that, hey, how come morning shift is doing 100% yield? And that means 100% okay, and noon shift is giving you 98% good quality. And how come night shift is giving you, for example, 80% good quality, only 20% reject? That means it's not really a process issue. It could be some other factors. It could be, is it tactics or is it lighting situation or whatever. All right. So with that measures, then if you go into the analyze. So once you know the current situations through the data already, then you go into analyze and identify the root cause of the problem. And then you talk about how do you select the improvement? So the improvement, the solution only come after you define your problem, you measure the current performance, you identify and you analyze the root cause, then you say, what is the best solutions for me to solve this? Which one is the most cost-effective solution? And then you implement the solution, and last but not least, you check whether are you able to sustain the results or not. So you see, Lean Six Sigma methodology have this DMAIC that help us to not only achieve breakthrough improvement, but also able to make sure that we achieve a sustainable improvement. That means we don't want to see like, oh, okay, good one, I managed to improve the yield from 80% to 98%, bingo, I celebrate. And then next week I come back, the yield drop back to 80%. No. All right, so DMAIC. So this is Lean Six Sigma methodology. Okay, let's just go this. Now, at this juncture of times, the key issue surviving is competitive advantage. If you have a strong competitive advantage, customer will still want to come back to you and say, okay, let's work together to weather through this crisis together with us. And how do you achieve competitive advantages if you are able to help your customer to be more productive? It's not only you as an organization able to be more productive. Right now is the time that organization, in my humble opinion, our organization need to think about how can I help my customer be more productive? And I strongly believe that if organizations who is able to do that, they are going to win the heart of the customer, and they're going to strengthen the relationship, because the customer say, you helped me during this crisis and you helped me to be more productive. Therefore, I'm able to bear it through. And when I'm able to bear it through, I give you more business and you will be able to bear it through as well. So how do we help customers to be more productive, my friends? It's these three things, isn't it? You are able to give what the customer wants, when they need it, with the right quality. You don't give them additional headache right now. All right. So you are able to give what the customer want when they need it with the right quality. And how are they going to achieve this? By consistency through productivity. That means you are able to provide consistency with high productivity. If you're able to do that, you can make sure you give customer what they want, when they want it, with the right quality, and you help the customer improve productivity, and you become more competitive, and you strengthen your relationship with your customer during these challenges. Sometimes people say there is always many doors of opportunity hide behind every challenges and issue. To me, I see this is a chance for organization to actually take this opportunity, for individual to take this opportunity and do this kind of revamping internally. So Lean Six Sigma is really help organization to really laser focus into the results, laser focus into the customer. All right, and it is always taking the approach of how the internet actions will impact the customer. That is really the focus of Lean Six Sigma, and that is why, in my humble opinion, why I think, despite 20 years now, and I think it's even more because when I step into the Lean Six Sigma has been running like probably 4 or 5 years already. So I think it's almost like 20 plus years already until today. People are still talking about Lean Six Sigma, all right? So this is the reason why. Now, let me touch a little bit in terms of the skill sets that Lean Six Sigma can provide to you as an individual, all right? And I see that these are the skills that is helping me to even run, to help me to be able to help organization whom I work with, or today to help me to help my client to improve their business processes. Lean Six Sigma gives us and teaches the skill of, how to, when we look at a problem, we just don't look at it as it is. We really dissect the problem. It gives you a lot of tools, it gives you a lot of method to dissect the problem and look at one problem from many different perspectives. All right. So on top of that, project management, risk management, you're going to master a lot through Lean Six Sigma certifications in terms of your project management, in terms of risk management. And I think this skill is getting even more important, not just because of COVID-19 issue, but I think because the business environment is moving very fast and business are going into the project by project basis. It's gone the day of mass productions, So people, product life cycle getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So it's kind of project and project. If I don't make a profit in this new product launch, I don't have the chance to make a profit anymore because the life cycle is gone. All right. So project management, risk management skill become very crucial for individual to pick up, and Lean Six Sigma will be able to train you and help you to sharpen your skill in that area. Process analysis and data analysis is really a given story that you really will be able to master your skill in that. And not only that, I think the skill set is one, but the mindset is also another one. It's very important. Through Lean Six Sigma training, I've been very thankful that it helped me. It really trained me to be more critical, to be more analytical, to always ask why and what if. Take the data, do this, what if like that, what if not this, why not this? You keep asking questions, all right? And it Lean Six Sigma train you to look at things and the total bigger view rather than looking at the tree only. You train you to look at the jungle and be able to see the whole end-to-end perspective. All right, and like I said just now, it train you to be more customer focused. And we say customer focused, not necessarily only external customer. The department that next to you, the persons who are receiving your work from you are your internal customer. So if you become more customer centric, then you're basically helping the process to do well, to perform well, the productivity to improve. And innovative solutions to all problems, like I said just now. And last but not least, I think the discipline, the systematic, and the speed, right? These are the things that why 20 years I still love this. And whenever I talk, I love these topics. So I need to constantly aware of the times also so that I make sure I keep the promise of 1 hour and reserve some time, because I really love this topic, and there's so much that I think I can still say. And I hope that we can more opportunity to learn together, and I looking forward to share more experience with you. Coming to almost my last few slides, my friends. Now, when I put this slide together, I was thinking about, just now I talked a lot about organizations. I want to spend my last 2 slides to talk a little bit about us, about as a person, as an individual persons. And, people are looking for jobs, I'm sure, right now. I just heard that Penang and Para are shutting down, a few thousand people are losing their jobs, people are being retrenched, people are being laid off. So people are rushing into the job markets. People are rushing to get job. That's the facts that, again, we have to face it. Sometimes we heard that we have to be in the right time at the right place. I fully agree with that, but tonight I want to give you another, add one more word into it. I say you have to be the right person at the right place in the right times at this juncture. The right persons, what I mean here is you have the right mindset, you have the right skill sets, right? And also the knowledge and the skill that can help organizations to bring in, right? So you have to be the right persons at the right time, right place, and at the right times. Okay, so let's look at this. I want to kind of like wrap it up with 5 core skills that you can get with Lean Six Sigma. Again, another 5, but this is more emphasized on the skill. How do you be the right persons to the organization right now, knowing the 5 components the organization needs? First one, Lean Six Sigma will teach you, and you will be able to learn various graphical techniques to present your data. Picture tell thousands words. So you need to know how to present, because the bosses are all going to be very busy. They don't have time to hear story. They need to be very quick ones. So you will be able to master some skill of graphical techniques. How do you pick the right graphics graph and palm and hit and send the message across. Next one, speak with data. You will be able to train yourself to how to be able to analyze data, how to be able to dissect data so that you can see the real situation of the problem and address the right thing. Okay, next thing, all right, process analysis skill. All right, you will learn how to do process mapping. You need to learn this, all right, process mapping. How do you quickly map up a process, and how do you quickly identify where are the gaps, where are the point of disconnect, where is the bottleneck of the process, and how do you work on releasing those bottleneck area, right? Connecting the process back. These are the skills that I think individuals need to equip it with themselves at this juncture of time to be one of the right person to join the organization. Managing tasks. I attempted to put multitask actually, all right, but at the end I just put managing tasks, because I think multitasking is another important thing for us to manage. And going through Six Sigma, because you have to manage your project and all has to be in a very quick timeline, all right? So that is really training yourself to manage tasks. I select an icon like a timer here. Sometimes people ask me, Casey, can you train me time management? I tend to answer and say, I can't train you to manage your time, because we all have 24 hours a day. But I can only train you to manage your activity. It is about how do you use the 24 hours or 8 hours in your office, what activity that you should focus on. All right, so it's more about the skill of how to manage tasks. All right. Okay, and the last one, last but not least, the systematic and structured approach, right? So throughout this 20 years of practicing Lean Six Sigma, I felt that this really helped me, especially when we need to, when we are faced with challenges and everything looks going into the wrong directions. We are panicked and we don't know what to do. And the boss asks us, now what? Why the reject so high? Where to start? And through Lean Six Sigma practices, I felt that it gave me the systematic approach. first, no panic. I define the problem, I measure it, I analyze it, I identify the solution, I improve it, and I find a way to control and sustain it. Right, so these are the 5 skills, right? Okay, so now as me myself, just a quick information to all of you also. Currently I'm also working together with SEGi College Penang to offer the Lean Six Sigma yellow belt certification to all the students, right? So because we really felt that this is one of the important skill for the graduates to really equip with them. All right. So imagine the graduates have those 5 components that I talk about. They know how to select a good graphic. They know how to manage multiple tasks. They know how to analyze the process. They know how to dissect the data. They know how to think systematically and structurally. Boom. That is, we feel like that is so important. That's why we are working together to offer the Lean Six Sigma certifications. And to some of you who are interested to know more about Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certifications, you feel free to contact me. And if you're interested to join our Yellow Belt program, you feel free to contact SEGi Penang. And I look forward to the opportunity to share with you a quick one about International Association of Six Sigma Certifications, and association which I am with. They are actually professional associations where they are kind of like a third party, where they don't provide any trainings. They just accredit the trainer and accredit the training provider, right, who is giving the certificate. So they are also the proud member of Institute of Credential Excellence, right, and as well as the full member of American National Standard Institute and Science. Right, so these are the a little bit informations about IASSC, in short, International Association of Six Sigma Certifications. All right, so I think that's about all I have for tonight. It's my pleasure here, and once again, I want to thank you, Dr. Gerard, thank you, Tony from SEGi College, for giving this or setting up this nice platform. Let's see whether there is any questions that I can address right now. How Lean Six Sigma can use in education developments, especially after long MCO. Education's developments over here, I think, right? Just to clarify, if your education development here means you are using how to use Lean Six Sigma to develop curriculums, or improvement in the education industry. Let me address it 2 ways. Let's look at it as 2 perspectives. One is from the improvement perspective in how do I apply Lean Six Sigma in education industry, for example, right? So I think it can be well applied in education industry. For example, let's say I am looking about my student recruitment process, right? So how do I lean the process of student recruitment process? How do I revisit some of my campaign that I used to run in different way, but now probably I have to change into the new way because of the challenges from the MCO. So I may need to redesign a new process, right? So when you are involving in redesign the new process, Lean Six Sigma come in perfectly to help you in that. So which means you map up your current process, your old process. This is how you've been doing it, and what is the results? And probably you say, I do these processes, but then my recruitment percentage, successful recruitment percentage is not as high as I want. And I start to zoom into where could be the processes that I can do better, or how can I tweak the process so that I can improve that, or even the administrative process, right? Those are the areas that we can still work on it. Okay, and if you talk about developing the curriculums or whatsoever, that is more in terms of defining what is the problem, or what is the pain point that you're trying to address, or what is the objective that you're trying to address in the curriculum, right? And measuring and looking into where is your current curriculum looks like, and then analyze, see where is the gaps, and then improve and identify what gaps that you can address and how you're going to address that gap and implement it, and then you check whether can you sustain the result or not. Do the post-delivery survey and see whether things get improved or not. Right? So I hope that addressed some of my your questions, actually. Let's see whether there is any other questions. Could Mr. Casey elaborate about the systematic and structural analysis? Sure, Anthony, thank you for asking this. Now, when we say systematic and structural, it means if you look at DMAIC again, first of all, when we deal with any issue, we start with defining the problem. That means the first step is we define what is the problem that we are facing. Is the problem happen randomly, or there is some trend that we be able to observe from the problem? What are we trying to solve? Next, then we look into M, measure. We correct some data, we collect some data, we understand what is today performance. So let's see whether the data is telling us something or not. If we suspect something and then we collect the data, we check whether, oh, okay, there is no dependency of who do the process. Everyone do also reject. Or maybe they collect the data and then we find that, oh no, actually this particular few operator they are giving higher reject than this group of operator. Then it lead us to a possibility, or could it be the scale? So therefore it leads us to A, analyze. All right, so D, M, analyze. So then we go to analyzing the problem. We use some of the tool like fishbone diagram, particle diagram, to do some, or even FMEA to do some analysis on and for us to identify the root cause of the problem. And then we go into the fourth step where we improve. We think about the solutions. How can I improve the issues? All right. And then lastly, once I implement, I want to have a mechanism in place so that I put in maybe some control plan in place so that I make sure the process is sustainable at this level of results that I have already achieved, because I don't want it to slip back to what it was just now before I make any improvement. So through this DMAIC, we are training ourselves to be more systematic and more structured in tackling any problem or any challenges. All right, so I hope that addressed your questions, Anthony. What is the difference? What is the difference in Six Sigma certification? Example, yellow and green belt. All right, thank you. Battery balance, is it? Okay, all right, thank you. So the difference is actually in terms of the skill level, right? The yellow belt is kind of like the fundamentals, basic level. So in yellow belt, you will learn more in define phase, measure phase, and also the control phase, right? Because yellow belt is more into be able to collect data, do some basic analysis to support the green belt and black belt in executing it. So green belt is a level that is higher than yellow belt, where in green belt you will learn more statistical analysis, all right, so that you are able to do more in-depth analysis to identify the root cause, right? So yellow belt give you a good foundations, all right, and then green belt enhance further, in particularly your statistical skill in green belt, right, and your analytical skill in green belt. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. Yes,
so,
Dr. Gerard.
Thank you very much for your talk. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have one question with you. Okay. I'm thinking it's an interesting talk on Lean Six Sigma. Do you think you can use this for personal development and growth? Besides using in the industry, can we use the same concept for personal development and growth? It looks like, if I can live a very efficient life, then I probably will grow or do better in life. You think it's possible? Or have you tried it before?
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Dr. Gerard. It is, yes. In fact, I'm the product of that. In fact, I have been using that in my personal life, where when I come into, whether it's not talking about business issues, sometimes when you have some challenges in your personal life, or you're making some decision, for example, right? there's one of the tool that we learned in Lean Six Sigma, solution selection metrics, for example. I even use that to select to help me to select which bank give me a better loan.
Okay.
A contract. So when you approach your personal development, it's talking about defining what you want. All right, what do you want to achieve at any stage of your life? All right, measure means you check your current situation. Where are you now? What kind of skills that I carry with me now? You know, what is actually my real situations? All right, and then I analyze what is really the root cause. What is really the issue? Sometimes we thought that cost is the issue. Sometimes we thought that I want to learn this, but this costs this much of money. But then, no, probably not. But when we really analyze, then we feel like, no, that is the skill that I need to learn. If I learn this skill, then I'm able to contribute and my skill with organization and therefore earn my income. So analyze it and then find a way to improve it and even control it, right? So I think Lean Six Sigma can be helpful also in terms of how do you use it for your personal development and managing your tasks. Sometimes you may not really use it like DMAIC, but some of the tool, the thinkings, the analytical thinkings, the critical thinkings that you have been practiced throughout your process of practicing Lean Six Sigma that train you to look at things from different perspectives. That's how I find it helped me in that way. Okay.
Maybe you can come up with tools for young people, where they can teach them how to be more efficient in life,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can come with something new. Okay,
Good
anyway,
one.
thank you for your time to share with us in the
Thank
area
you.
of I think the people who came to this webinar tonight, I think they benefited a lot. I can see a lot of good feedbacks from the participants, and I would like to thank them. Okay,
Thank
for
you.
those participants who are still with us, if you want to get a certificate, digital certificate from SEGi College, because you've attended this course, please go to this website, okay, to fill out the form, and from there we will be able to give you the certificate in 30 days, and the link will be only open for 30 minutes. Okay, so that is the link here in front of you right now. And if you are interested in future to also listen to some of our talks, because we have been arranging quite a number of talks, and this is going to be the mainstay for SEGi. Group of colleges will be running a lot of webinars. In fact, we have lined up close to maybe 20, 30 talks for various people throughout the next few weeks and also a couple of months from now. So I hope if you are interested to continue to listen to us and learn something and to share something, or maybe if you want to talk about an area that you're interested in, you can always come in and we can discuss to run the webinar for you as well. So please join us in our Telegram so that we can actually give you more information as we move along. Thank you to Casey. And,
Thank you again. Thank you.
And we will see you in SEGi Penang again because you'll be doing some work for us as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward for that. Thank you.